Governor Andrew Cuomo resigns in disgrace. The Senate passes the $1 trillion infrastructure bill. And the Taliban overtakes Afghanistan as the U.S. withdraws. And more on this week's headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo announced he will resign over a series of sexual harassment allegations made against him.
And wasting energy on distractions is the last thing that state government should be doing. And I cannot be the cause of that. And I think that given the circumstances, the best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back to governing.
In his announcement, Cuomo said he will step down in 2 weeks. Does he realize you don't need to put in 2 weeks' notice for leaving in disgrace? Cuomo has denied the sexual harassment claims, calling them politically motivated attacks, but said he was stepping down to avoid subjecting New York State to months of turmoil. This is ironic, since if Cuomo knew how to stop doing something that created a hostile environment sooner, then he wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. But credit where it's due. I'm proud of Andrew Cuomo for doing the right thing. This goes to show that anyone is capable of doing what's right several months too late, and when the other option is being forcibly ousted and facing criminal charges. Andrew Cuomo is really someone you can look up to. And a lot of young folks these days need an older role model to look up to, considering how Andrew Cuomo's COVID policies killed their grandparents. When will I stop making Andrew Cuomo killed grandparents jokes? When someone holds Andrew Cuomo accountable for killing grandparents. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul will take over as the new governor of New York State. Andrew Cuomo said he'll stay on for the next 2 weeks and work to ease Hochul into the job. You know, show her the ropes, make sure it's a smooth transition, maybe light some candles, put on some Marvin Gaye, an innocent shoulder massage, and just see where the night takes. Hey, knock it off, Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo's excuse is these sexual harassment allegations against him are politically motivated, which sounds a lot like California Governor Gavin Newsom's claim the recall effort against him is a partisan Republican coalition of national Republicans, anti-vaxxers, QAnon conspiracy theorists, and anti-immigrant Trump supporters. Which isn't true, since Democrats and independents also signed the petition to recall Newsom. People don't just want you guys out because they're right-wing extremists. It's because you're a creep and you're a hypocrite. Which one is a creep and which one is a hypocrite? The answer to that question is yes. That may be a bitter pill for them to swallow, but at least those pills are made in America again. Because U.S. hospital groups, startups, and nonprofits have started making their own medicines in an effort to combat high drug prices and persistent shortages. That's important considering an increasing amount of pharmaceutical drugs, and especially the ingredients to make these drugs, are now made in China. Some of these U.S. groups have already made and shipped millions of doses, and nearly half of U.S. hospitals have gotten some drugs from the projects. This competition could potentially drive prices down and bring safety standards up. And it's nice to hear a story about people making drugs at home and have it be about insulin instead of meth. It's like the G-rated version of Breaking Bad. Speaking of healthcare, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is asking hospitals to delay non-essential medical procedures in response to a rise in COVID-19 cases in the state. Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to delay my trip to Austin to get this full-body muscle reduction. I'm tired of being objectified and everyone making Cuomo-like passes at me. Knock it off. My eyes are up here, people. More after the break. Welcome back. The Senate passed Joe Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure bill this week with a strong bipartisan vote. 19 Republicans voted yes, making the vote 69-30. Immediately after that vote concluded, senators began voting on a follow-up $3.5 trillion spending package, which passed with 0 Republican votes in a final vote of 50-49. But while both these measures passed in the Senate, there's no guarantee either one will pass in the House, especially considering that Nancy Pelosi and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez threatened to hold the infrastructure bill hostage until they received a reconciliation bill for the $3.5 trillion measure. This $3.5 trillion plan intends to fight poverty and climate change, but I'm not sure how successful it will be in those goals, since the tax hikes that would come out of this would make people way poorer, and it can't be good for the environment burning all that money. Speaking of universal wastes of money, Canadian technology startup Geometric Energy Corporation is partnering with Elon Musk's SpaceX to launch a satellite called CubeSat into space that will beam ads, art, and logos. Businesses can pay with cryptocurrency to be promoted on CubeSat. I just have to ask, who is this for? Do they think aliens will finally visit Earth if they see a billboard for Haagen-Dazs? In space, no one can hear you scream for ice cream. Even in the quiet emptiness of space, you can't avoid commercials now. Seems the only place in the universe where you can go without seeing any ads is my YouTube videos. One item CubeSat might advertise is the new alcoholic Hard Mountain Dew, expected to hit shelves in early 2022. Yep, alcoholic Mountain Dew, the official beverage of hillbilly weddings. Alcoholic Mountain Dew, the official beverage of people who think toilet wine is too fancy. Alcoholic Mountain Dew, the official beverage of why you lost custody. Speaking of things that'll make you dumber, Oregon Governor Kate Brown signed a bill that suspends the state's essential skills requirement for students to demonstrate proficiency in math, reading, and writing in order to earn a high school diploma. This bill was signed in an attempt to help more disadvantaged and minority students graduate. Proponents say the state's proficiency requirements hurt disadvantaged students, while opponents say suspending them lowers learning standards for everyone. Personally, I think educators should work harder to help the disadvantaged. Lowering the graduation standards is laziness at best, and at worst, it indicates the governor doesn't believe these students are bright or capable enough to receive a quality education. Or you could just racially segregate students, like one elementary school in Atlanta did, saying it was in the students' best interest. Sure, that sounds way better and less racist than my idea. Kids might not need to learn math, reading, or writing, but they'll definitely learn history, since now we're repeating it. Between some Republicans cutting school funding and now some Democrats lowering standards to graduate and even segregating students, I'm beginning to think the movie Idiocracy was an optimistic look at the future of our country. We're not that dumb as a nation, are we? What's that, Shelley? Right. Alcoholic Mountain Dew, the official beverage of thinking GED stands for Get Her Done. And after the break, find out why Amazon will start paying its customers. Welcome back. Amazon announced it will pay customers up to $1,000 in compensation for unsafe items sold by third-party sellers. Some might question why Amazon wouldn't just stop using unsafe third-party sellers. And the people asking that have absolutely no business sense, which I'm fine with, because that just leaves more cash on the table for me as I start my side hustle, collecting compensation after ordering my nieces and nephews combination Chinese throwing star / baby pacifiers. I rate this plan 5 out of 5 throwing stars. Speaking of a dangerous plan that anyone could have predicted would end up poorly, the Taliban seized 17 provincial capitals in Afghanistan in under a week. The terrorist group continues to make advances as U.S. forces withdraw from the country. They now control half of Afghanistan's provincial capitals, as of when we recorded this yesterday. By the time you watch this, it could even be more. A European Union official said the Taliban militants now control 65% of Afghanistan. A UN official said advances made in human rights in the 20 years since the hardline Islamists were ousted from power are now in danger of being erased. Despite this, the U.S. is not looking to step up airstrikes in the region. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said, "When we look back, it's going to come down to leadership, and what leadership was demonstrated or not by Afghans. It's their country to defend now. It's their struggle." And President Biden said Afghan leaders must fight for their nation. But I don't want you to think that the Biden administration is just blaming the Afghan government for what's happening. Here's what Press Secretary Jen Psaki said about what the Taliban needs to do.
The Taliban also has to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the international community.
I believe the Taliban has already made that assessment, and they've decided they want to rule Afghanistan. This whole situation is like a parent throwing their kid in the pool to teach them how to swim. Only instead of helping them if they start to sink, they just sit back and watch as the other kids invade their pool, hold their child at the bottom of it, and when someone asks if they're going to do something to help them out of this mess they got them into in the first place, the parent says, "Don't worry, they've got this." Also, those other kids need to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the swimming community. That's not how you teach someone to swim. That's how you wind up with a haunted pool. What a stupid way to endanger children. At least my way of endangering children makes money. And speaking of keeping watch over something, the National Security Agency's internal watchdog is conducting a review of allegations made by Fox News host Tucker Carlson. Carlson claimed the spy agency had improperly targeted his communications for surveillance. While this investigation hasn't started yet, I can already report the inevitable findings. We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. Funny how that's the result every time, isn't it? The NSA so far has denied the allegations, and I for one believe them. A spy agency was spying? No. Don't be absurd. And no, I'm not just supporting the NSA because I'm afraid the next member of the media they target will be me. And it will get out that I spend most of my free time reciting dramatic monologues into the mirror, preparing myself for the day that Broadway comes calling and my star shines brighter than an ad on the satellite CubeSat. Because while reporting the news is my job, my passion is the theater. Hypothetically. So what do you think about the stories we covered this week? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is supported mainly by viewers. Be sure to visit patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.